Good morning and welcome to the next Christian and Christmas meditation and reflection for anybody, students and staff, friends, alumni of the University of Sheffield and anybody else listening in too. So the setting that I'm in is one of my family members' bedrooms, so that's why it looks a bit different this morning, because everybody else is asleep, I think, or playing games quietly in different rooms. So the theme for this morning is Christmas isn't over yet. And if you go and listen to my talk from yesterday about the 12 days of Christmas and the reflection there, that helps explain why there are 12 days of Christmas and why a festival needs to last some time. That's the case in many different religions. But once the festival begins, you need a few days. Well, you need 12 days of celebration for Christmas to actually, as a festival or as a feast, as they say in Christianity, for the feast to conclude. Though even when the feast concludes after 12 days, which is when you'll see many people take their Christmas trees out of their windows, or the lights come down from shops and so on the 6th of January, there are still several Sundays to go round until we're at the end of Christmas. Christmas actually comes to a conclusion much later in January, and in some ways you could say, there's a festival called Candlemas, but anyway, you can look that up some other time, or I'll tell you a bit more in my next session, because I've got 4 more coming up in the rest of the vacation period. In terms of a reflection for us, a meditation on Christmas not being over yet, I think in the light of the fact that Christmas within the Christian belief and religious and faith system being a long period of time helps us understand, well, partly how the UK and originally the English education system developed to have a long vacation period for Christmas. But it goes beyond one religion. This is a time of celebrating that the days are beginning to get lighter again, and time shifts as the long nights begin to change. And this has been something that's been celebrated at this time of year in the Northern Hemisphere across many different religions and beliefs. And in Britain itself and in Ireland, there are examples of the way that standing stones from thousands of years ago have been set up to mark the solstice of the winter, so that the turning of the light, when the days no longer shorten but start to lengthen, begins. And within Roman and Greek religions and in different religions, the change from each day getting shorter to it suddenly swinging back and each day lengthening slightly, this has been often regarded within different practices and beliefs and religions as a moment of hope, of expectation and of reassurance. So for ourselves, I think, whatever our religion or our belief, this vacation period and this Christmas season is one to be mindful of the hope of restoration. And at the end of a year of pandemic emergency, the desire for restoration and a sense of hopefulness is one that could be useful to adopt for each of us. And I think that's become a little easier in recent weeks as well, considering the much better news about vaccines, even now a new drug which could prevent the disease if somebody with a particular immune illness or under cancer therapy, and a new drug that could help them or treat a group of students or people in a care home. It's a new drug that's being trialled. I don't know if you've seen the news. But there's all sorts of signs of hope, signs of restoration to a life that we're all more familiar with than the life we've each been leading these last 9 months or so. But quite often restoration and hope begin with really small steps, not with everything being put right in one go. So partly in the last 2 minutes of this reflection and meditation, I just wanted to guide our thoughts to that question of, what are we hoping for next? And it may be that we don't feel particularly hopeful as we're listening in on this talk. So often there's one small thing or the next thing that we know that it's worth hoping for. Because sometimes doing the hopeful thing is to hope for the next possible thing. I think the other thing about hope, and that's one of the hard elements of hope is for the thing that hasn't happened yet. And so hope increases longing and expectation, and also risks some disappointment. And I think we've all experienced that this year too, over the last 9 months, when hope after hope has actually been dashed, has been broken by circumstances saying, no, that's not going to be possible either. So right now, I think in these darkest and shortest days of the year, we come to a moment where maybe hoping has kind of gone off our agenda, and we're more interested in the actual facts of what happens next. But what I'd encourage each of us to do is to think about, what's the next thing I can realistically consider hoping for, and stretching those hope muscles just a little bit again, because hope can build a different sense of trust in life and a different sense of desire and longing and of belief as well. So maybe in the time ahead after listening to this short reflection, you want to think about what you want to give your hoping energy to. And the hope of restoration is maybe a good way into thinking about things that are worth hoping for. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back on New Year's Day at 8 a.m. with a new message, and you can listen back again to the other messages if you just look at the link below on this clip. Bye for now.